Chairman, together with Ms. Isa Calzado Winter, Board of Directors. From the Philippine Theater Actor Guild Incorporated.
Maraming salamat po sa ating mahal na Senador, Senator Jingo Estrada, at tagapagtanggol ng masa. A'udzubillahi minasyaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Isang magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. At gusto ko lamang pong ipaalam sa lahat ng ating mga na ito pong ito ay pinag-aralan pong mabuti ng ating chairman. Binigyan po ito ng sapat na panahon. Nagkaroon po kami ng mga consultation. Ay ginagawa namin dahil alam naman ng DOLE, mismong galing sa DOLE, na abnormal ang kasi ng trabaho sa pelikula at sa telebisyon, pati na rin sa entablado. Kaya po ito hinaharap ng ating British chairman sapagkat karoon na po ng mga maraming nag-uusap ng patungkol dito. Nagkaroon na po ng maraming kasunduan pero wala pang batas na nagaganap. Kaya ito pong pag-uusap na ito, katulad po ng sinabi ng ating chairman, huli na po ito. Kaya sana, dito po sa pag-uusap na ito, mailabas na po natin lahat yung mga gusto natin, nasa damdamin natin, ilabas na po natin. Dahil sana, pagkatapos po nito, wala nang turuan, wala nang sisihan, wala nang batuhan, at maging dahilan para magkaroon ng isang boses. Kaya hindi lamang ng pelikula, hindi lamang ng telebisyon, hindi lamang ng tablado, kundi ng buong entertainment industry. At yun po ang maging daan, upang makikita natin, yung isa pang klase ng pakikibaka naman, at yun naman yung patungkol sa holiday.
Umaga po, Chairman Estrada and the esteemed members of the committee, Senator Padilla, mga kasamahan sa industriya, magandang umaga po. Ako po si Dingdong Dantes, kasama ko po si Isa Calzado, kumakatawan sa Actor, League of Filipino Actors, isa pong SEC-registered na organisasyon na binubuo ng 150 active members na kasalukuyan pong nagtatrabaho sa larangan ng pelikula, telebisyon, entablado at digital media. Gusto po namin magpasalamat na umabot na tayo ng ganito. Dito po kalayo sa panukalang ito at tunay po na talaga kapag tayo nagkakaisa, makabuluhang mga layunin ang nasasagawa. We come here today with a focused sentiment. We acknowledge the interrelated roles that each critical sector in the industry assumes. The ultimate objective is neither personal nor selfish as we stand to maximize artist productivity and overall welfare of the workers across the board. That way, from a social and economic standpoint, lahat po ng mga industry participants including workers, artists, and employer producers stand to gain much to the satisfaction of our nation as a whole. Mga kasamahan po, as co-creators in the art of storytelling, we passionately reiterate our call for the implementation of effective and responsive labor laws and regulations. Ito pang mga measures nito are essential to ensure not only optimal performance but also to safeguard the physical and mental well-being of our dedicated workers. Reasonable limitations po sa working hours. We have submitted po our detailed position paper but please allow me to run down the salient points for the purpose of the discussion. Una po, regarding working hours and work and rest period, we stand united in advocating for the regulated working hours, supporting an 8 to 12-hour work period exclusive po of meal breaks, and a maximum allowable working day of 16 hours. This aligns with the Inter-Guild Alliance's proposal and excludes minors and seniors who must adhere to specific limitations. Pangalawa po, on rest periods, we concur with the proposed 10 to 12-hour rest period with a minimum of 10 hours for lock-in shoots as determined by the Tripartite Council. Thirdly, we are thankful for the strengthened inclusion of the OSH or Occupational Safety Health requirements and the need for OSH officers on set ensuring a healthy working environment. And fourthly, Actor places a strong emphasis on mitigating sexual harassment within our industry by formalizing measures in contracts to respect actors' boundaries. This includes the establishment of intimacy coordinators, strict reporting mechanisms, and clear contractual language. We also propose the creation of an easily accessible help desk to assist industry workers in addressing such issues and support the inclusion of a penal provision to enhance accountability. And lastly po, we champion performers' rights to fair remuneration, and we fully support the establishment of a tripartite council as outlined in the existing bills. This council, we believe, is pivotal in fostering collaboration and ensuring the overall well-being of workers in the industry. It also provides a platform for industry stakeholders, including workers, producers, and even government representatives to collectively address the very peculiar safety concerns, labor conditions, and industry standards. Together, we can strengthen our industry, ensuring it thrives habang pinaprioritize natin ang welfare of all those who contribute to its success. Bilang pong worker artist, wholeheartedly po, united po kami in the goal to raise the quality of our industry even further, Mr. Chair. However, we need to start by lifting each other up because we believe that we all share a common destination. And with the success of the entertainment industry in mind po, we highlight the value of establishing the right standards and safeguards to govern it. And by that, we expect the delivery of captivating performances that breathe life into the stories we tell. Because in the long run po, we can also expect sustainability and growth in the industry that makes ours truly world-class. Kaya panghuli, it is our hope for us to strike a harmonious balance between creative output and the well-being of all the performers for the growth and success of the industry and our nation's awareness. Actor po and all our stakeholders are very grateful, Mr. Chair, Mr. Senator, and honored for the opportunity to be heard in the process of developing these bills. We pledge our commitment and assistance in seeing that these bills are enacted into the Eddie Garcia Law. The Eddie Garcia Law would not just ensure safety in the workplace, but confer to all workers in front and behind the cameras a dignity fitting to the industry we serve, the industry where Eddie Garcia spent most of his life. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Mr. Dingdong Dantes. Anybody else who wishes to give their opening statements? Yes, please identify yourself. Patricia Lapus of
Hello, I'm Ana Patricia Lapus of Interguild Alliance.
Interguild Alliance. All right.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Chair. The Interguild Alliance is a private sector community-based network of 14 guilds and organizations that represent professional workers in the film, TV, and advertising industries.
Can you please list down what are these 14 guilds under your organization?
Included in the 14 guilds present here today are Actor. We have the Directors Guild of the Philippines, or DGPI. We also have the Guild of Assistant Directors and Script Supervisors, the Filipino Screenwriters Guild. We also have Lupon ng mga Pilipinong Cinematograpo, or the cinematographers, one of the cinematographers guild. We also have in our membership Filipino film editors, kapisanan ng mga assistant directors sa Patalastas, or CAPS. We also have the North Luzon Cinema Guild, represented here today by Ms. Amaya Han of the Regional Film Leaders. Also present here today is the Production Designer Circle of the Philippines, or PD Circle, the Philippine Independent Producers Group, Soundspeed Philippines, and Association of Filipino Stuntmen.
Is your organization registered with the SEC?
Yes, sir. BIR and SEC.
Continue.
Thank you, Chair. The film and television industries deserve the attention as they comprise a cultural force that has contributed much to nation building and activated the economy through employment and income generation. We laud the focus of the Senate in giving these industries the support for the current bills aim to further enhance, protect, and professionalize them. As the Senate prepares to consolidate several bills upgrading the working conditions and safety standards of the audiovisual industries, we thank you for joining the IGA to participate in these discussions. We'll summarize our three key elements for the bills presented here today. Our position is as follows. Firstly, we suggest a 16-hour maximum time frame. This means from first man on set to the last man off.
Pakiulit, your last statement.
We suggest a 16-hour maximum time frame from the first man on set to the last man on set. I think we believe it must be noted that it usually takes a minimum of 2 hours to settle into the location, another 2 hours for meal breaks, and another hour maybe to dismantle everything. So that's roughly 5 to 6 hours where the camera isn't even running.
Including the ingress and egress. Including.
Yes, sir. Yes, Chair. Secondly, we suggest a 10-hour minimum turnaround time, meaning from taillights or the last man offset to the first call of the next shooting day. And lastly, we also suggest an overtime pay takes effect after 14 hours. It must, however, be noted that personal contracts, negotiations, and other legal agreements of above-the-line film workers with respect to their respective productions be honored and respected. In line with this, we also request for the inclusion of IGA representation in the technical working group or tripartite groupings. It is a struggling moment for the industry, but we believe that we can help shape a good future together. Thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else who, Chairman of the FDCP, Mr. Tirsos III?
Yes, good morning, Chair, Honorable Jinggoy Ercito Estrada. Of course, I also would like to recognize Senator Robin Hood Carino Padilla. Anyway, this will be short. As Chairman of the FDCP hopes that it's very timely and relevant that the government puts a premium on protecting the safety and welfare of the workers in the film industry. But it is also equally important to keep focus on the capacity and limitation of our Filipino production companies, who are all still recovering from the economic downturns brought about by the late COVID-19 pandemic. The recovery and development of our beloved Philippine film industry has many problems that will have to be solved with multidisciplinary approaches that will require the collective efforts of all of us. We all have to look at an industry-wide perspective, a bird's-eye view that acknowledges all the needs from all sectors of the film industry, from the actors to the production crews to the production companies and the end users. I'd like to highlight the merits studying the best practices from other countries, but it would also be favorable to study the policies in the protection of workers in other industries of the Philippines that are more developed or sophisticated in addressing the needs of labor. As we continuously find the common ground and make important compromises, I believe that we can reach agreements that will both benefit the demands of our the economic consideration of our Filipino production companies, and the changing preferences and taste of the Filipino audience. That will be all, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Malaman ng lahat. Yung pinag-usapan po natin ng Eddie Garcia bill. Nag-shooting ako, Chairman. Sinubukan ko ng mga hours sa tulong po ng mga professional, ng mga tao. Nagawa namin action. Opo, action. Hard action. Nagpasabog pa kami ng truck.
12 hours pagka-grind.
Oh, grind. Bali, all in all, 14 hours. Yung travel, punta doon, preparation. Kasi na-inspire kami dahil Direct Coco Martin. Kasi nung nakausap natin si Direct Coco Martin, sinabi na nagagawa nila ng 12 hours. So, hindi ako makapaniwala. Sabi ko, parang bumabola yata ako ni Coco. Kaya ang ginawa ko, nag-shooting ako. Mga tao na, sa Batang Quiapo, nagawin namin. Pero hard action to.
It's doable. Doable.
Pati pagkain, sinubukan namin. Yun lang yung pagkain ng chairman, sinubukan namin ng 150. Medyo hindi masaya yung mga tao sa 150. Sinubukan namin, masaya yung mga tao sa 250. Kasi yung 150, parang tawag doon, parang, ano ba, styro? Nasa styro.
Paklat. Si 250, di ba paklat? Okay.
Yung mga tao, unlimited rights, pwede siya lang, masaya sila, may maganda. Sinubukan din namin, ang tawag doon, yung binibigyan ng pera. Sinalawans. So, sinubukan din natin pera kasi magpapakita ng LSX. Sinubukan natin binibigyan ng pera. Hindi na din sila doon kasi dala na naman yung pera. Kaya ang halipana namin, ang punto ko, Chairman, hindi gusto natin talaga matapos ng 2 hours. Kaya, kasi kami hindi naman kami nagkakasyon na 1 milyon.
Nasa pre-prod lang muna tayo eh.
Talaga, yung tipo na ito. Dahil lang po, Chairman, gusto ko lang po magpasalamat sa dalawang artista.
Senator Robin, hindi lang siguro sa pre-prod. Kasi ang nireklamo rin, ang kaya ni Direk Coco when we talked to him 2 weeks ago. Kasi pagdating sa set, minsan mas matagal yung chismisan, yung kwentuhan, yung mga marites dyan. So, naiiwasan, siguro sa set niya, naiiwasan yung mga kwentuhan, yung mga chismisan pagdating sa set. Kaya pagdating sa set, trabaho ka agad.
Tama po, yan po ang ginawa namin, Chairman. Wala mo nang doon talagang trabaho lang. Kaya po, Chairman, po naman pasalamat sa dalawang artista na nagpunta dito. Kay Mr. Dingdong Dantes, kay Miss Isa Calzado, at sa lahat, siyempre, ng mga artista at taga-pelikula. Ito special mention ko lang sila. Kasi sa totoo lang po, sa pelikula ng Pilipino, mahalaga yung bida. Kapag yung bida nag-umpisa ng mga katulad, ng mga ganitong killers, yung kitsa, yung bida doon sa mga mali na tinatawag po namin, yung mga kulong, sa bida, kinikilig ang producer. Sa panahon mo nila. Sa panahon mo nila, kapag reklamo kasi yung artista na sinasabi ng bida, yung pagkain naman, ayusin naman yung pagkain, nakikinig yung producer. Kapag sinabi ng bida sa producer, sa kalahating araw na po kami nag-taping, pwede naman po bigyan naman ito. Overtime, yung mga tao, nakikinig ang mga producer. Kaya napakahalaga po sa ganitong usapin. Kasama natin yung mga biga. Katulad nila ako, katulad nila Dingdong Dantes, sila Isa Calzado. Kasama natin dito. Kaya sana po, mas marami pa na mga biga ang sumama sa atin sa ganitong usapin. Para versus
May influence.
so, paligid. Kasi katulad kasama natin sa USCBN, dati kami. Basta pa ako ng lang na hindi ko na alam saan ko ilalagay. Pero, kaya sana, mas marami pa, Chairman, ang para sa usapin na ito. At kung naman po sa Berlin, nabibigyan ako kay Berlin, share na po talaga ang environment sa dito sa television at ganun din sa media. Iba po talaga. Sa ibang trabaho. Sa akin, hindi lang lakas. Ang kanito, hindi lang ganun ang ganito namin sa trabaho nito. Ang kaluluwa at lahat nandun na. Kaya iba po talaga ang aming industriya. Lamang po, maraming salamat po sa ito. Maraming salamat, Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Robin. Mentioned during our last consultation hearing last Saturday, if we cannot get our acts together in the movie industry, we cannot achieve anything here. That is why sana magkaisa na kayo, yung mga breakaway group daw. Kasi sabi ni Madam Imelda Papin, who is the president of the CAP, bakit merong isang grupong aktor, bakit hindi kayo magsama? Sabi, breakaway group daw kayo. Can you please comment on that?
Sure.
Kayo raw, yung mga members daw ng aktor, mga class daw, mga matataas, yun daw mga members nila, medyo hindi masyadong sikat.
Siguro, konting konteksto lang po kung paano nabuo aktor. Nabuo po kasi aktor nung height ng pandemic, nung panahon na hindi namin alam kung anong mangyayari sa industriya, kung anong gagawin namin. And we just started with a small community of actors na kami nag-uusap. May mga common beliefs kami, may mga common aspirations. And in that moment, sabi namin, sige, bakit hindi natin itaguyod itong grupo na to for our community who are really very active presently. Hindi lang naman sa mga issue na ganito ang layunin ng aktor sa pagbuo ng organisasyon. Meron din kaming mga layunin katulad ng pagtatayo ng mga social enterprise. So my point is, may specific needs po bawat isang grupo. And yung sa amin po, yung sa grupo namin aktor with 150 members, ito po yung isang mechanism.
How many members?
150 po. Namin po
Compared to 1,000 plus daw sila.
Pero ang gusto ko rin pong i-stress dito ay yung position po na ibinigay namin, while I agree and I believe that we should be under one industry. Lahat po iisa lang gusto natin. Whether masunod po yung position namin or not, gusto rin po namin talagang ibahagi yun dahil yun po ang feedback ng aming members. Yun po ang ginawa namin through proper consultation with them at yun po yung resulta ng mga na-experience nila currently on the ground. Dahil very peculiar po yung ating industriya, marami pong nagbabago every week, every day. Kaya ito po yung basis ng aming position na ibinibigay ngayon. But of course, we agree na talagang dapat naman under one industry po tayo. Pero may iba-ibang interest din po kasi ang bawat grupo. And I also want to encourage kasi hindi lang naman po, marami pa pong grupo ang hindi organized, like the makeup artists and many different groups within the whole industry. Kagaya po ng mga exercise na ginawa namin with the IGA, na napakaraming makabuluhan ng mga ideas na lumabas para sa development ng buong sector. And we are very much open to collaborate with all the existing groups, again under one intention and goal to unify and to further develop the industry and push it further.
Before you established Actor, did you reach out to the other, yung sa CAP, the other guild?
Sa totoo lang po, hindi po kami aware na it was really that active in terms of addressing the current needs. Kasi parang ang mga nandun lang po ay yung existing Viber groups, wala pong means of
So walang
members.
contribution.
So hindi naman po sa ganun, pero siguro it's more of kung ano yung pangangailangan ng panahon na yun, especially during the pandemic, yun po yung hinahanap namin. Kaya rin siguro nagkaroon ng ganitong klase.
Okay, you just mentioned earlier that you established that organization during the pandemic.
Just July? June? No, May.
The height of the pandemic.
The height.
Okay.
First.
Siguro mga 1 to 2 months in the...
What have you contributed to the movie workers? Did you have any project with regard to the movie workers? Wala kayong wala pa?
Mostly po within our community of actors po.
Within your community.
Yes po. But we are very much in collaboration with Mobile Fund meron po kami mga projects with them with regards to yung mga benefits ng members ng Mobile
Yeah.
Fund. So may mga ganong partnerships din po kami na-establish. And that's why we reiterate that we are open to partnering with like-minded groups, again, with the intention of unifying the industry.
Did they reach out to you? Yung CAP? Because according to Madam Imelda Papin, they were trying to reach out daw sa inyong group. But you
Personally, I have not received any invitation, but definitely we are very much willing to.
But do you think
talk to them.
magkakaisa kayo?
Definitely,
sa layunin natin
yun
ito?
naman po dapat.
Yeah. Direct Carlitas, you were raising your hand.
Mr. Chair. We're really, I think regarding the concern, Mr. Chair, your concern about yung getting the voices together, I think ako lang, I mean, I don't think we have to worry about it kasi we can all get together on things that we all agree on the bill, even if we're from different groups. And as far as kung about yung nabanggit lang about the difference of the groups, no, I will just speak for the DGPI, the origins of the DGPI. Yes, we are a breakaway group from the KDPP, which is a kapisanan ng mga direktor ng pelikula daw Pilipino. I'm a founding member of the breakaway group of DGPI. Yes, it is a breakaway.
When was this established?
This is 1994.
GPI 1994 pa?
Yes. And the reason is not because of it was not because matatanda na ang tagat KDPP, because I'm of the same age group as the people who are in KDPP. So matanda din ako. The reason is because the original reason is because ang concerns principally, and I find that at least in our case, no, we wanted to focus on concerns on, let's say, yung mga education, parang concentrating on getting, like mga certain issues that affect the art and craft of filmmaking, such as mga censorship, mga ganong issues. The directors guild at that time, basically, the main concern was welfare issues. And I find, I personally, I'm not speaking for the DGPI at this point, I just want to make it clear. I think just for this statement, I think that's basically the divide sa tingin ko lang, is that ang FAP is concerned principally about welfare issues, which is great, no, moving welfare issues. We are also concerned about that. But we're concerned about things other than welfare issues. Education, parang development, pushing films, Philippine films locally and abroad. So there are a lot of things that we're concerned with na are not really, which I feel that, I could be wrong, but I feel that are not the priorities of FAP. So that's why meron dividement naman between the DGP. But we are ready to work with that, and we can align and definitely come together on things that we agree on, kahit na we're from different groups. We have I would like to think that we have that mutual respect. But it's not about because matatanda na yung mga taga-FAP. Hindi po yan. Hindi ko alam kung saan ang galing yan. Thank you.
I was just about to say, to make it clear also, one of the points nga, dito sa pinag-uusapan niyo, Your Honor, yung working hours, iba-iba yung sinasabi, based on call. Pero nung nagsasabi, dapat mag-umpisa raw, yung first scene na kukunin sa'yo, mag-umpisa yung time. Hindi siya gawin, halimbawa sa akin, nangyari na lumabas ako sa isang balabas, kung on call, nagpo-prosthetic makeup ako. So, 2.5 hours, andun na ako sa makeup. So, kung mag-umpisa sa call, I'm not taking the 7 so sa akin 2.5 hours dahil mini-makeupan pa lang ako eh. So, mawawala na kagad yung 2.5 hours.
Pag kunwari, ang call time mo 6 o'clock in the morning, pag ang pinag-usapan natin 16 hours, so dapat tapos ka na ng 10 in the evening, correct?
Ang gano'n sa yung call time.
Yes, ang iba is call time. Ngayon, pag 6 o'clock ka dumating, tapos papamakeup ka pa, prosthetic, sa tulad ng sila mo 2 hours and a half,
Yeah.
so minus yun, ba? Wala yan.
Hindi na nga yung siya dahil sa call hindi lang 16 hours. So, maandar na ako ng 6 o'clock. Kung call ko 6 o'clock, maandar na yung time ko. Kahit na hindi pa ako nakukunan, may-makeupan pa lang ako. Kaya parang one of the details yan na dapat maklarify. I mean, should it really be all-time or should it be the first student that
What is the pleasure of the producers? And of course, I will also get the opinion of yung grupo niya.
Mr. Chairman, I think we had to discuss this, to be honest, because of course it is advantageous. Thank you very much, Chair Tirso, for pointing that out. Because it would be better for us if it's from roll time, because then we can shoot a lot more. From the time the cameras start rolling. However, we do acknowledge that there are individuals whose work starts a lot earlier, as for instance pointed out by location managers. They arrive much earlier than the roll time. The people who pull out the camera equipment work a lot earlier than the roll time. So that's why we think that there's a lot more discussion that should happen when we go into the details. Thank you, Chair.
You want to comment on it? Or the Interguild na lang sasagot?
Thank you, Chair. To address the
Balik ka.
concerns on working hours, it usually po kasi sa pelikula, then I don't know po if Mr. Coco Martin specified if the 12 hours he mentioned included the setup and the set down nung shooting nila per day.
Pag-grind ng camera.
Pag-grind. Ang position po ng IGA talaga, ang nalulugi yung below the line, to use the technical term, kasi sila yung nauna sa set. We also recognize the fact na if we consider the per hour time of each crew member, then that would also bloat the budget, so to speak. If we are to allot for shifts in the production set just to maximize then the day for the shooting, but overall hindi rin naman po usually ang nangyayari sa pelikula, as mentioned by Direk Percy. One unit lang talaga usually in any movie set. Kaya to give due recognition to already the efforts of every person once they step onto the location, it is our recommendation na kasama from the first man on set to the last man out. Hindi na nga po namin sinama yung travel time.
Ay, hindi nyo sinama. Alright, so pagdating sa set, pag kunwari call time ng mga artista 6 o'clock in the morning, syempre maaga yung mga crew doon, mas mauna yung mga crew doon. Syempre set up pa. Correct? Pag dumating ang mga crew ng alas 5 ng umaga, kasi 6 o'clock or 1 hour before the call time, so dapat umalis sila ng 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock ng gabi. Tama ba?
Nag-vary po yan kasi most productions they provide transportation. So yung depende po sa sunduan ng services. But it's usually may house to house. Oo, mga 2 hours before at least yung first man.
Kasi sila pa rin yung huling aalis sa set eh.
Opo, para magligpit.
Kasi babaklas pa sila kung ano babaklas nila ron. So what is your recommendation?
16 po,
16
maximum.
maximum.
So yung flexibility po would be per production na lang how to maximize that 16 hours every day.
Period. No overtime pay. Kahit pakiusapan ng producer, baka pwede additional 2 hours, bigyan ka lang namin ng ano.
So, as far as IJ is concerned,
Usually, ganyan naman nangyayari. Internal pag-uusap nilang between the producers and yung mga suppliers.
yes,
Ay mga
Chair.
artista, minsan pinakikiusapan yan eh.
Yes, Chair. Opo.
Diba?
I think even 10
Kasi,
suppliers.
halimbawa, naka 16 hours sa Tirso Cruz, tapos meron pang isang eksena na hindi pa natatapos. Gusto na umalis si Tirso Cruz kasi 16 hours na, tapos pakikiusapan ng producer, baka pwedeng isa eksena pa. Kung mag-walk out yung artista, dinabitin. Di ba? So, pag nilalagay natin sa batas, 16 hours, at pag umalis pag nandun pag nakapagtrabaho na isang artista na 16 hours, obligado na silang umalis, unless pakiusapan sila ng producer. Meron mga artista ganun, pag sinabi sa batas, 16 hours, alis na sila. Regardless kung meron pa silang big scene or whatever.
It's very rare na yung artista po yung pinakamatagal. If anything, they would be the group of people na
yung mga full-time workers,
Apo.
pag nakapagtrabaho na sila 16 hours, tapos meron pa natitira malaki eksena, pag umalis sila, up na rin shooting.
Opo.
Diba?
Yun po yung recommendation ng IGA.
Hindi, another additional burden sa producers yan, dahil kung meron naghihintay na big scene, tapos nakapagtrabaho na ng 16 hours, syempre alis na yun, pagod na yung mga tao. Yes.
Good morning po. I'm Ann Monzon, President of Lupa ng Pilipinong Cinematograph po, which is the Cinematographers Guild. Under us po yung Lighting and Camera Department, which constitutes a lot of the workers on set. I hope I can rep in a way, although they're not organized, I hope I can speak for them as their department head. Kami po yung department heads nila. In the case po Sir Senator, while mas maaga nga po pinakamaaga po dumarating yung production design, art department. So, by the IJA call of 16 hours only, hard stop, it will count, as we already mentioned earlier, the first person in and the last person out. Whether or not ma-fulfill, it doesn't matter how long any of the other departments work within those 16 hours. Sana po, nasa batas, 16 lang, hard stop for the last person, whoever it is who leaves on set. So kung ang artista po ay kinailangan lang ng 12 hours, thank you po, pack up na po sila. Pero yung unit po namin na magsiset up pa po, nagsushoot pa po kami minsan ng mga close-up, ng mga kamay, ng mga puno, mga establishing shots. Yung mga tao po namin, and then yung mga tao po ng art department na magsiset down pa po after pa po nung aming technical team, sana po, pasok po lahat, saklaw po dun sa 16 hours and wala na pong negotiations after that. The overtime po sana will be something that is contractually agreed upon on a case-to-case or a per-project basis. Depende po if a person or a unit or whoever is involved in the project wants to set the time at 12 hours or 14 hours and then overtime after that. But all in all, one work day for everybody should stop at 16 hours.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Dingdong.
Pandagdag lang po, since we are in the creative industry, sa totoo lang po yung mga performers, mas marami pong oras ang pahinga namin versus yung mga mas maraming tao sa set na literally and figuratively mas mabibigat at mas malalaki ang binubuhat. Kung doon po sa tanong na kung pakiusapan ay papayag ba mag-extend, I am pretty sure papayag at papayag po. Because sabi nga in the industry, because we are in the creative industry, we won't stop until we get the job done. Kaya it is our hope na meron po talagang kahit papaanong framework sa pamamagitan ng batas na ito na pwede nating balikan. Kasi kung sa pakiusapan, sigurado papayag at papayag. Pero kung meron po tayong sinasandalan, at least may basihan po. And
You're talking about yung artista. Papayag at papayag.
kahit, opo, everyone po everyone.
Including those, yung mga
Kami po ay papayag, di siyempre lahat po damay-damay na. So gusto po namin yung protection na to, yung 16 hours, kung ano po mang number yon. In fact, wag lang po sanang mabalik sa dating practice. Whatever the committee agrees on is a win for us. Para lang across the board, mula sa first person in or any person part of the crew across the board, whether artista po man or crew or staff, ay ma-protection na nitong working hours po na ito.
may I know what was the previous practice before?
Iba-iba po. Ay,
Gusto niyo po ba yung best and worst naming lahat? Chair?
Yeah.
I mean, ang max ko po yata ay umabot ng 36 or
36 hours straight?
Yes, palipat-lipat po ng location.
36 hours?
Opo,
Ano ito, TV or shooting?
TV po. Okay.
Yung non-stop po.
Non-stop po.
Non-stop po din.
Non-stop yun. I mean, walang pahinga, walang tulog.
Ay, Chair.
Yeah.
Ah, ang magiging pahinga noon ay kung halimbawa bumaklas, travel, kasi depende po yun. I think I've experienced that twice.
You're talking 36 hours, artista. Artista lang.
So yun, ako po yung
Artista 36 hours. What more yung mga crew?
Exactly.
Mga production designer. Mas matagal yun.
Kaya po yun talaga ang hinihiling namin na ang dating nakagawian ay iiwan na natin sa nakaraan.
36 hours isa,
Yes po, Chair.
ang bayad sa inyo isang araw.
Yes po.
Tangin lang yan. Sorry. Strike off the record yung...
sir, may huling pandagdag na lang po. Totoo po yan, may mga ganong realities po on the ground. Pero, gusto ba tayo? Pero ito pong mga pinopropose namin ay base sa mga best practices. Dahil napatunayan po na it is possible na kung ganito po ang ating window ay merong decent amount of creative output for as long as efficient po ang lahat at nagkakasundo. Yung sinabi po ni Mr. Coco Martin, totoo po yan, na posible po yan, at maganda pa rin ang kinalalabasan. Everybody is safe and happy across the board. Even the 16 hours has basis na it has been done. In fact, nung pandemic po, mas naging very strict po ang lahat. At nagkaroon din naman po ng mga magagandang output. Although, syempre, pag mas hinabahan pa natin yan, mas marami pa po tayo magagawa. So, again, ang point ko lang po, yung these recommendations are based on the best practices na pwede po siyang mangyari kahit na may mga limitasyon pong ganito.
Thank you, Dingdong. Rest assured, itong 36 hours hindi mangyayari under this bill. No? If you have this, if this law will be, if this bill will be enacted into law, siguraduhin natin walang ganyan na mangyayari. Katulad ng sinabi ni Isa, yung nakaraan, iwanan na natin sa nakaraan. Yes, direct.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think yung kasi, yung 16 hours that is being considered, yun yung hard stop yan, maximum. Wala nang overtime that's being considered in that proposal beyond the 16. The only overtime that's being considered, at least sa IGA majority proposal, is overtime between 14 hours and 16. Pero beyond 16, hard stop na yun, tigil lahat. Kahit anong, that's the proposal kasi nga that's the way to balance it kasi para workers' welfare, at the same time, magandang magawa yung pelikula. At the same time, there's matapos ng producer in enough shooting days na hindi naman siya malulugi. So we're trying to balance everything in with that 16 hours. Thank you.
Thank you, Direk. Yung sinasabi ng 36 hours, kasi I'm really bothered.
Chair, yes.
Pag 36 hours yung straight sa trabaho, iba na ang mukha mo nun agad na. Iba na reaction mo sa pag-arte.
Gusto niyo po.
Maganda nun, medyo maganda pa naman, pero pagdating ng 36 hours na walang tulog, tapos sa arte ka, crying scene or whatever, maapektuhan din yung
Opo, gusto niyo pong magbigay po ako ng isang hemplo. Hindi ko na po sasabihin kung anong
production.
itago sa pangalang sa
Matagal na lang yung production na yun.
personally lang po, nangyari po ito. Pagtatapos po ng isang serye namin, pagod na po kaming lahat. Umabot po kami noon ng next day na, parang second day, magto 2 days straight kami noon. Ang tulog na po namin sa set. 9 a.m. po, hindi pa tapos yung first day namin. Nakunan po ang eksena. Hanggang sa natapos, nung nag-edit na po ang direktor, tumawag sa akin, Isadora, natutulog ka sa eksena. Sabi niya, nakunan po, inaantok po ako, gumaganito po ako. Wala pong nakakita. Assistant director, cameraman, director, nobody saw it, makeup artist. Because everybody was sleepy. Everybody was no longer in the right frame of mind. Everyone was tired. Ako, it looked funny. Pero sa totoo po, hindi nakakatawa. Kasi po, kalusugan nating lahat yon. Kaya po tayo nandito. Dahil what is at stake, it is really our health. And while we're young, we can take it. But the older we get, the less money sometimes we are given. Oh, may nagre-react po, sorry. It's true. Whether it is on the body. So, yun po, kaya po tayo nandito. So, yun po, tama po yung sinabi nyo. Hindi lang po sa hindi maganda. I mean, that is the least of my concerns kapag walang tulog. Yun po ay, am I still functioning as a basic human being? Nakatulog po ako sa isang eksena nang hindi ko alam at hindi nakita ng ibang tao sa paligid ko. Yun lang po.
Mas mahal pa yung hospitalization expenses mo kaysa sa bayad sa'yo.
Yes po. Actually po, nung nagka-COVID din ako, nung March 2020, I was admittedly working on 3 different sets. But it was from a lack of sleep. At kaya po, alam ko po na malaki ang lack of sleep, malaki po ang tama sa immune system.
And I think the producers are well aware of it dahil marami ng casualties sa film industry. Marami na tayong mga director, mga ibang mga crew, artista na namatay dahil nga because of overwork and overfatigue dito sa ating industriya. Yes, yes.
Good morning. Anyway, matagal na usapin ito. And I think doon na dito at naglabas na sila ng department order. According to study, yung efficiency ng performance or ng trabaho ng isang worker ay hanggang 12 oras lang. Pero dahil nga ang batas natin, ang 8 hours constitute today, pero dahil naiiba yung industriya natin, kaya pwede tayo magtrabaho hanggang 12 oras. Okay. Nakalagay sa department order na dahil nga may namatay, example, si Ben Veramas. At dahil doon, nag-set na talaga sila, merong department ang dole na nag-aaral dahil sa kalusugan natin. At kaya ang usapin na hanggang 16 hours, maximum ang pwedeng itrabaho, pero wag naman lalampas doon dahil sabi nga ng dole, akala ko ba health ang pinag-uusapan natin. So, nag-set naman ang yung House version, yung House Bill number 1270 na ang working hours ay 8 to 12 but you can work na may overtime pay hanggang 16 hours. Yun ang maximum. Kaya base doon sa pag-aaral ng DOLE at meron ng nakasulat yan, meron department order na doon nakalagay yung health and safety standards na dapat natin sundan. Ang position ko naman, as I've said during the last session at nung sa mga private consultation natin, na i-adapt na lang natin yung House Bill number 1270. At yung position ng mga producers na pwede silang hanggang 16 hours ay nasusunod pa rin naman. Kasi yung 12 hours ay hindi kasama doon yung meal time. So lumalabas, magiging 14 hours din. At kung isasama mo yung egress, ingress, egress, aabot din ng 16 hours. So para sa akin, nag-stick na lang tayo doon sa House version dahil win-win solution yun. Masusunod yung gusto ng producer at yung gusto ng mga workers. At ang isa pa, yung sekreto kasi, Mr. Chair, dapat yung kukunin ng producers, yung mga workers na marunong mag-prod, hindi kayo nagsasayang ng oras sa set. Para pagdating, i-schedule ka kung kailan ka kailangan. Para hindi na kayo magbayad ng overtime. So, at
ang working time applies to everybody, hindi lang para sa artista. At Mr. Chair, for your information, minsan yung ibang natin mga artista ay nakatali sa isang kontrata, sa isang network na pinirmahan nila na kahit na umabot ng 18 hours ang trabaho, hindi sila dapat magreklamo kasi nakalagay sa kontrata nila. So, pag mabibatas itong working hours natin, ay mapapawalang bisa yung kontrata nila because it will go against the law of the land. So, yun lang po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for your insights. The chair will not adopt the House version of this bill. Maybe some provisions, but not in toto. Okay, because we will still have a technical working group before I submit my committee report to the plenary. You're raising your hand.
Hello, Mr. Chair and Senators. Sorry, hindi kami nakapag-intro kanina kasi parang marami dito sa inyo na hindi nakakapag-recognize sa group namin. Ang nakapag-mention lang actually sa amin is si Direct Sigyon and si Direct Percy. Even kanina si Miss Carla. Si Miss Tin, hindi kami na-mention. We are the production managers and location managers of film, TV. Yung iba dito, kasama namin ngayon, solid group namin ng location managers and production managers. Often, hindi kami kasi recognize sa trabaho yung gagalawan namin. So, kami ang stand namin, okay na kami sa actually nung una 14 hours. Okay na kami sa 16 hours. As I've said dun sa forum, kasi kami yung pinakakawawa dito. Mali po yung sinabi ng production managers at production designers at art dep ang nauna. Kami po ang nauna. Sa kamalasan, kami yung pinakamas na nagtatrabaho bago madali ang pelikula. Kasi pag sinabi sa amin mag-location hunting na kami at mahirap ang mga locations, may mga times na isang buwan or 2 linggo. Pero maswerte ka sa mapupuntahan ng director, project, mas madali kang makakatapos eh. Pero para sa kaalaman ng Dingdong at ng producers, hindi po kami Dingdong. So kung sinasabi, katulad ng isang production, nagtrabaho ko ng 1 month, puro out of town kami, yung 5 hindi ako binayaran. Wala kaming laban eh. Wala kaming contract kasi freelancer kami. So mali yung sinasabi na sila yung nauna. Kami, kasabay namin ng tent, nauuna kami sa generator. Kasi pag sinasama kong technical eh, sana, diba parang hindi lang kami 3 hours advance, 2 hours advance, during pre-prod, may sasama na each department. Kasi ano lang para ba lang ka ng ituro sa tent boss kung magsa-set up, ituro sa Janet kung saan magpapart. Wala ba silang cover sense? Kaya lang diba kasi, sagot namin ng location eh. Sagot namin ng safety. Diba pag naghahanap ka ng location, hindi lang basta makakita kami ng bahay eh. I-consider namin yung logistics, yung safety, yung parking, hahanap kami ng nearest hospital, ng police station, i-consider nyo pa yung budget. So hindi lang ganun kadali. Hindi pag sinabi ng director na ganun pa ng mention, hindi lang tayo sa lang kakatapin namin eh. 10. Pag makita director mo, 10 lang namin. Diba? Wala ka ng oras. Even sa location na hunting, we will start at 5 a.m. para mas madami kami ikaw. Makakauwi kami 10, 11, hanggat kayang may ikaw na location. So talagang, parang dito lang, feel namin nakawawa kami kasi kami talaga yung nag-violate sa time. So, kung nag-agree at gagawing batas yung Eddie Garcia, okay na kami sa 16. Basta pag 16, pag umalis na lahat, alis na din kami. Kasi kami tumubo eh. Tapos yung budget namin, parang bata pa kami, parang nagdagdag 10,000. So kami, tsaka kami, freelance kami. The rest ng kasama namin, taga-network. So we're also protecting them. Ang lang ng freelancer, mas konting increase sa talent. Hindi pa wala kaming mga benefits katulad nila. So yung kaninang na-mention sa pag-ibig and tama naman sila sir eh. Kumukuha kami ng self-employed. Hindi namin na yung land, by boat, by plane man yan. Wala, ganun pa rin. Gaano man kalayo yung marating namin, pagkain namin, swerte ka na sa 150. Yan lang, ako nag-agree ako sa lahat na 13 hours, 16 hours max. Kasi let's face it, nagkakaroon naman ng internal na usapan eh. Dahil makikisama ka, pag sinabing alam mo rin naman yung side ng producer na yung ginagastos nila, di ba? O pwede bang ito na once. Pero kasi kami talaga yung sa time. Dahil nga 2 hours before, para lang i-set up lahat ng parking ng tent. Kasabay namin dumadating ng Janet. Minsan nauuna pa kami. Yun lang po, sana mabigyan din kami ng recognition na bilang mga AM, PM, na malaki na ang hirap namin sa pagdala ng pelikula at soap opera. Salamat po.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Nalisa. I understand your predicament, and I think the representatives of the Producers Guild are listening intently. And one thing I am concerned of is the food, yung binanggit mong pagkain. Siguro naman sana yung kung ano yung pagkain ng artista sa set. Sana yun din ang pagkain ng mga maliliit na tao na nagtatrabaho sa set. Kasi yung like crafted dish kasambahay lo, kung ano yung kinakain namin, yun din ang kinakain ng aming mga kasambahay. Sana yun din dito sa industriya natin. Kasi hindi mo mga aso yan, tao rin yan, hindi mo mga halip yan. Kung mas mababa pang sweldo nila, dapat nga mas pakainin natin, mas masarap dahil mas matagal pa sila nagtatrabaho kaysa sa mga artista. Yung mga artista, maraming pera yan, pwede sila bumili sa mga restaurant, pero yung mga nasa crew, yung mga production design, etc. Sana kung kinakain ng mga bida, mga artista, hindi na pakain natin sa kanila. Okay. Yes, you're raising hand.
Ayun po, Mr. Chair, sorry po, hindi po namin napakilala yung grupo namin kanina, hindi po kami nakapag-opening remarks. Pero sasabihin po sana namin kanina, lahat ng scope of work namin sa paggawa ng pelikula man or television, bilang nabanggit na rin po ni Neri yung iba, sa amin din po ang responsibilidad ng pagkuha ng mga permits para sa kaalaman po at batiran ng lahat ng nandito. Sa amin po yung pagkuha ng permits sa barangay, sa homeowners at sa mga city hall. Sa amin din po yung iba't ibang requirements ng produksyon. Gaya po ng paghahanap ng mga kotse, sasakyan na ginagamit ng mga artista, ng kanilang mga alagang hayop, aso, pusa, kalabaw, baka, ahas. Sa amin din po yung nakatoka. Sa amin din po nakatoka ang mga sinisisi ng mga maiingay during the set, pang mga maiingay na naririnig, sa amin po yan. Sa amin din po bumabagsak ang kadalasang galit ng mga kapitbahay dahil during their celebration, pinapatigil po namin sila sa kanilang pagbibidyoke. Sa amin din po ang bagsak ng reklamo ng mga kapitbahay na nagre-reklamo dahil po maingay during takes at yung mga naglilipot ng gamit o nagsiset up po ng gamit.
Wala bang tanod dyan? Ikaw meron doon nagpa-traffic dyan?
Meron po, kaya lang po kasi may permit naman po kami sa barangay. Kaya lang po kami po.
Sa mga tanod eh.
Yes po. Kaalalay po namin sila pero kasi pag sila po yung tinawag, kami pa rin po nagkaharap. So magpapaliwanag po kami ng dispensa na pasensya na po kayo, ganito ganyan. So sa amin din po yun.
Share yung worst kasi doon, namumura din kami ng director. Kasi even yung ingay ng aso, sorry Direk Percy kasi nakatrabaho din si Direk Percy eh. Hindi ka, I'm not referring to you, Direk. Hindi, syempre, I respect din the directors na nakatrabaho ko rin. Marami naman na akong naikutan na networks. Pero kasi, di ba, Direk, lahat naman kasi, pagka sa location talaga, yung mga naglalasingan dyan, nag-video kay asong tumatahod, mga naglalarong bata, lahat yun, saklaw ng namin. So kaya kami nandito, thankful kami na na-invite kami kasi it's about time na marinig kami. Kasi hindi alam ng mga kala nila, laki ng sweldo namin, location manager, production manager. Eh pag sinuha tayo ng location, baka wala pa kami pumagdaan sa isang araw. Thank you po, Chair.
Thank you, Neri. Alright, okay, last.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Sino ba? Direct.
Yeah, ang concern din namin lang sa DGPI kasi some of our filmmakers are documentary filmmakers, no? And this also goes into the issues that have been raised about coverage of the law. We're just concerned na our position is that sana yung safety, medical safety requirement, etc. Not be made necessary for documentary shoots or back shoots that go on to covering special events that where the situation is not totally within the filmmaker's control, such as covering a Black Nazarene procession, halimbawa, or some natural phenomenon like kanantal or something. Mga ganun yung pumuputok. So what we are requesting is to rethink that requirement as it applies to documentary shoots or backpack shoots na mga nagsushoot ng B-rolls. Just so it is not because not everything in the content that is being covered is within the control of it is basically a coverage. It's not making an event. It's covering something that is beyond the filmmaker's control. That's one, no? The other thing then, Mr. Chair, is we would suggest lang, we would recommend removing student films from the coverage of this law and leave the universities and colleges and schools that teach film or television or whatever to come up with their own policies. Kasi the budgets definitely necessarily of the student filmmakers are much lower than commercial filmmaking, which is what is the yun naman at saka commercial television to commercial media making, that is basically what we're discussing here. So yung student filmmakers sana are taken out of the coverage of this law. So those two things lang.
Okay, thank you. Before that, nakalimutan ko i-discuss sa inyo yung tungkol sa mga senior citizens na mga artista. Are they still covered with the 16-hour working hours? Kasi meron tayong batas doon. Am I correct? Na ilang hours yung senior citizen na pwede magtrabaho?
Mr. Chair, it's 8 hours for senior citizens and 4 hours for children. We're
So, 4 hours. So, 8 hours maximum sa senior
senior
citizens.
citizens.
Paano sa schools pagka ano? Hindi nga.
Thank you.
8 hours siya. Hindi.
Mr. Chair.
I'm also a member of the, senior na rin ako. Kunwari, ako may pelikula ako.
Director.
Ano susundin ko, yung 8 hours o 16 hours?
Actually, that is a problem for us also kasi
Oh.
it's not the actors, also the directors too.
O paano? May sabi sila, senior na.
Senior citizens.
Kaya na, ano susundin natin? Yung 8 hours under the law o 16 hours na pinopropose natin? Oh,
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, kami we discussed this sa amin 12 hours for senior citizens, pero if the senior citizen writes a waiver, then he can go then he should be allowed to work between 12 and 16 hours maximum.
children, 4 hours?
Sa children,
Why not?
yeah. Let's just stick to the dole sa children. Merong dole 4 hours yata sa children.
Ano ba ano natin? Dalo?
There is an existing law, Mr. Chair, on working hours of children. For those under 15, hours po maximum of 20. For 15 to 18, maximum of 40, but 8 hours per day.
Alright. Yes.
Yun lang yun, yung mga senior citizen, pwede sila magtrabaho more than 8 hours basta magsasign sila ng waiver.
Every time na nasa set, magsasign ng waiver? Ganon? Kasi if we, kunwari, nasa batas na maximum 16 hours, ang trabaho, direktor, artista, mga senior citizen, ano nga susundin natin? Mr. Chairman, yung nasa batas na 8 hours.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, kailangan kasi nakalagay dun sa House version, magkikreate ng tripartite na mag-discuss dun sa mga detalye. So I also expect yung Senate version dapat magkaroon din ng kailangan mag-create ng tripartite council to discuss the details of all yung batas na naipasa.
Is it possible for us to discuss it right now? Why are we going to put under the law the tripartite council? Doon pa lang di-discuss na anong mangyayari sa mga senior citizen kung ilang oras sila magtatrabaho? I don't get that, sir.
Yes, okay. From my experience from the past, kasi talagang matagal na ako, ang mga ibang senior citizen talagang nagsaset po sila ng time limit nila regardless of how long. By 12 midnight, I'll go home, finish or not finish. Meron po silang gano'n. But, dun po sa tinatanong nila for senior citizen, I think the discussion that I attended, ang ibig sabihin po ng 8 hours nila, correct me if I'm wrong, the 8 hours of work nila is encompassed to the 12 hours regulation. 8 hours po, yung working limit talaga nila. Hindi po, you don't consider them under the 16 hours or the 13 hours. Sa 12 hours of work, people, 8 lang sila. So, dapat po yan nakapaloob dun sa number of hours na yan.
People.
Yes, gusto lang clarify as we have all talked about it. We have a very industry kasi ibang klase yung tatrabaho natin. And I guess with all due respect sa Dole, yung 8 hours is referred to yung mga pumapasok sa opisina on a daily basis. Kasi tayo, hindi na kami pumapasok sa opisina, but the demands of shoot at ang serye, bago nag-iiba yung conditions, working conditions, nag-iiba yung mga eksena kukunan. Kuminsan, merong mga heavy scenes na kinukunan, heavy physically, kuminsan heavy emotionally. So, kaya yung sinasabing sa 8 hours na as compared to regular worker, pag ikinumpare mo yung taga-pelikula, because sabi nga, I think everybody na taga-pelikula will say talaga na
kakaiba yung industry natin and you cannot compare it to any other regular work.
Yes, as I've said before, ours is a unique industry, and sometimes we cannot just follow the provisions under the Labor Code of the Philippines. That's why I am